Hello everybody, this is AK. I'm back. So you see the thumbnail on screen. Some of you might be rubbing your eyes to read again to see whether you have seen correctly, right? Don't worry, you're not going blind, you're not and I didn't make a mistake, right? So yes, I bought some Alibaba shares finally, right? Well, I'm going to stay quiet for the rest of the video and you guys can start typing in questions in the comment section. Okay, now, well, it shouldn't really be that surprising. I mean, it is surprising, but not overly surprising. If you have been following me on YouTube, right, you would have heard me talking to myself about how Alibaba at 80 Hong Kong dollars a share, and at one time it was trading below 80 Hong Kong dollars a share, that it looked pretty attractive, right? It would look attractive even to value investors, and in fact, to many value investors, they probably started buying, except for those who thought that China was uninvestable, right? And to be fair, to be honest, I said that I didn't like the policy risk in China. I didn't say China was uninvestable, but I didn't like policy risk in China because, you know, China isn't a true it isn't a true open economy, right? I mean, it's centrally controlled, and the CCP can decide to shut down an industry. For example, it shut down the private tuition industry, right? Almost overnight, the entire industry just evaporated, right? And so I say that I've kept saying that there are policy risks in China, and people who are investing in companies like Alibaba, they have to be very aware of that, and that is a big risk. And I also didn't like the fact that Alibaba paid very little in dividends, right? And I said in one of my videos that if they would increase the dividend payout so that the dividend yield is something like 4 or 5%, it would be more attractive to investors like myself, right? But of course, it's not because they can't afford to pay, but because they chose to do share buybacks instead, right? They kept buying back their own shares, which in their eyes probably look very undervalued, right? Relatively, right? Historically, is very undervalued. And it isn't overvalued like Tesla. I've said that before, and Tesla today looks even more overvalued than before. That's Mr. Market for you. There's no accounting for Mr. Market's emotions, right? So Mr. Market has gone on a Tesla buying spree, and he had a little fling with Alibaba for a while. He sent the share price up to $120, and now it's back down to Hong Kong $80 per share, right? 80 Hong Kong dollars per share. So it's back down to where it started not so long ago, right? So anyway, long story short, I bought Alibaba shares because of what a friend told me, right? And this friend is invested in Alibaba, and he knows my stand on Alibaba, and he agrees that there are policy risks. China is, like I said, not a free market economy, right? It's not a free market economy. There are many ways that we use to value stocks conventionally, and we can't really use them effectively when we are valuing Chinese companies, because we cannot put a numerical or monetary value to this policy risk, right? Like, for example, they shut down the entire private tuition industry almost overnight. How do you account for something like this, right? Taking that as a so the only way to look at it is that there's policy risk which could wipe up all your investment overnight, right? And but this friend of mine, he said he's willing to take the risk because Alibaba just looks relatively cheap, And it's something that I've said before in my videos, past videos, and it's, of course I agree with him. And he went on to say that, you know, if I was willing to buy Bitcoin after being convinced that the digital currency had value, you know, it's digital gold. I said that in an interview with the fifth person as well. Why won't I buy some shares of Alibaba? Well, for one thing, I doubt that Bitcoin would evaporate and be shut down overnight, right? But of course, that has a different set of risks. I do understand what he's trying to say, where he's coming from, right? So as we had the chat, we decided that the important thing is to invest an amount of money that's similar to what I used to buy Bitcoin, right? So I sized my position very conservatively. So basically, do not invest more than what I feel I am okay to lose, you know, if Alibaba gets shut down by the CCP, right? And I came home, I gave it some thought, and well, I decided to buy some, right? Warren Buffett say, be greedy when others are fearful. To be honest, I'm not, you know, to be quite fair, you know, I'm not being greedy here. What I'm having is a sampler. You know, it's like you go to the supermarket and they give you a sample to try before you decide whether to buy that box of sausages or something, whatever they were trying to promote, right? So I'm not being greedy and eating up all the sausages, but I'm just having a sampler, right? So thanks to my friend, I'm a newly minted Alibaba shareholder now. Well, it's good timing also because Alibaba is back at Hong Kong, 80 Hong Kong dollars per share, which I thought was okay. And of course, with all the share buybacks that they have been doing, 80 Hong Kong dollars per share now is probably better than 80 Hong Kong dollars a share, say 1 year or 2 years ago. I don't know when it was at that price. I don't really keep track of the price, but you get my drift, right? And if you are wondering how I bought Alibaba shares, well, I bought it in the Singapore Stock Exchange because now we can buy Alibaba shares in the form of Singapore Depository Receipts or SDRs. So I can buy it and manage everything I have on the same platform. I mean, I don't have to go anywhere else to buy shares of Alibaba, right? So this is possibly the last video for the year, but of course, never say never. And if you are interested in Evening with AK and Friends, the last I checked, I think we have like 9 tickets left. Someone told me they're sold out by now, but I'm not sure because I'm not sure about that because when I checked just an hour or so ago, there were still 9 tickets left, right? So if AK can talk to himself, so can you. Bye-bye.